hope the interaction with Mr. Lakias wasn't too fast and furious. If yes, I have a glass of water because up next we have another accomplished alumnus with us, Mr. Kushaldev Kashyap from the batch of 2015. Very good morning to you, sir. We are very pleased to have you here with us. Mr. Kushal has a startling experience of 6 years in the edtech business and is presently the sales head of the newly formed Byju's Akash Educational Services Limited since April 2021. Sir had started his career in HCL in July 2015 and contributed to sales and design brand launch campaigns for its education business until August 2017, when he joined Think and Learn Private Limited, which is presently known as Byju's. He joined as senior manager business development and drove revenue upwards amounting to 120 crores in the span of 2 years. Sir then had joined Upgrad as associate director of business development and headed the direct sales portfolio for 1.5 years. I'm sure you would have now realized Mr. Kusal sir has traveled through the edtech business market leaders. We are privileged to hear about his thoughts on how to gain a 5-year advantage early through the MBA career. As done earlier, the students can continue to post the questions in the chat box, and we will take them at the end. Sir, we are the vibrant batch of 23, eagerly waiting to hear from you. Please take over.
Thank you so much. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Yes. Perfect. So thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks a lot, Kulatu. Thanks a lot, sir. And thanks, Alekhya. Great session here. He just brought up my energies as well. I had a crazy Friday night, which I am sure you guys would be very conversant with in your first year of college. So yeah, thanks Alekhya for setting the tone right. It's been a couple of days that I've been thinking what to talk to all of you. I thought why not tell you about my industry, which is education technology. Great industry, great returns. But I said, I can park that thought for later. Then I thought that why not teach you young folks about sales and marketing, which has been my portfolio, which has been my main bread and butter source for the last 6 years. But I thought again, I can come down to campus some other day and talk to you about that. I thought, should I come here with a presentation? Should I come here just talk to you? A lot of questions were running in my head. I spoke to Debashish sir. I spoke to the Alcom of the college, and I realized that probably there is a more pressing issue that I want to talk to you, all young managers, all freshly inducted batch, which I feel is going to create the most difference in your life. So I'll not take a lot of your time. I have my Saturday review starting at 11:45, so I'll try to wrap up early, and we'll leave the last 15 minutes for any questions that you have. But I would want the next 30 minutes to be as interactive as possible. We will talk about how your next 2 years in college and the next 3 years in the industry should be if you want to gain an added advantage over peers from different colleges and your own batch itself. So first of all, how many of you are here just because Alcom or Placecom has asked you to? On a Saturday morning, you guys are here, all dressed up, decked up in your formals. I am sure nobody wants to do that voluntarily, right? Nobody wants to do it voluntarily. I never wanted to do it. I remember, Placecom throwing me out of, the initial pep talk meetings that we used to have with companies coming over or different guest lectures just because we're not shaven, we were sleepy, we were lousy. So if that's the case, my request to you is just wash your faces and let's have a very crisp conversation for the next half an hour. Okay. So let's start off by addressing the elephant in the room. Okay, and I want everybody to participate. How many of you are unhappy joining IMT? How many of you feel shit? Yeah, I could have gotten into an IIM Kozhikode. I could have gotten into an IIM Indore and IIM Lucknow. Probably MDI got missed by just 0.5 percentile. Yaar, mera XIM bhi ho jata. There would be a lot of you. There would be a lot of you people who would come to campus, who would join the first year with some sort of a resentment. There would be, and it's natural. It's natural. Let me tell you a couple of facts. And I'll tell you a couple of facts initially, and then I'll tell you why facts are not important. So let's take that route. So in my last 6 years of my post MBA experience, uh, so I'm from IMT. I have had people from the best colleges of the country, and when I say best colleges, I mean IMABC, and I mean ISB, and any other college which you think is at par. I even include Accelerate there. They've all worked for me, same batch people. So if I look back and I say, does that matter that I did not get into an IIM Ahmedabad or I did not get into an IIM Bangalore and I got into IMT? No, it does not. The brand in the market is equally powerful, if not more. It's equally powerful. And I can say that because I've had people from all these colleges work for me, same batch people. I've seen my, not just myself, my friends from my batch have a similar trajectory as well. Now, if I contemplate and I see यार फर्क कहाँ पे पड़ा, what was the difference? How could people from IMT, when we initially thought that we might not be in the best of the best college, we might be in a as Alekhya was mentioning, almost there. Then how are we better than those people? Then I went back in a flashback of memory, and I realized that when we entered college, when we entered IMT, there were two starkly different sets of people. And why am I telling you this is because I want all of you to be in the second category. There were two kinds of people when we got into IMT. The first kind of people resented being here. Now, when you resent being at a place, you never get the best out of it. You never do. From first year, they would be like, अरे यार यहाँ पे तो placement नहीं होगी, अरे यार यहाँ पे तो ये नहीं होगा, अरे यार यहाँ पे तो समझ नहीं लगेगी, which is not true, which is just not true. You have a better infrastructure than 99% colleges of the country. It's not true. And then there was another set of people, and I can name those people. You would know all of them. You would know all of them. I'm just talking about my batch right now. Who would say, यार 2 साल रुक जाए, industry हम चलाएंगे. And those people are actually running the industry. You talk about people in operations, you talk about people in finance, you talk about people in marketing, you talk about people in sales. And I consider myself to be one of those people. I'm running the edtech industry right now. And you talk about people in entrepreneurship. You've all seen PharmEasy? Dharmil Seth? So he's 2 batches senior to me. I remember, so when I came into college and I applied to SAG, he was the guy who took my interview. And I remember sitting with Dharmil at night with a bottle of scotch and discussing about an online pharmacy. The only difference he had was he said कि यार मैं ना 4 सालों में इस इंडस्ट्री को चेंज करूंगा. And he's doing it right now. He's doing it right now. I sat with Harinder and he said यार मार्केटिंग नहीं होती सही तरीके से इंडिया के अंदर, इसको चेंज करेंगे. Today he's one of the 30 under 30 people who are kicking ass in the marketing field. When I went out into the market for the first time, I said यार ये इंडस्ट्री है, इस इंडस्ट्री को अगले 6 साल में चेंज करेंगे. And today I have set up more than 4 organizations with an annual revenue of 500 plus crores. So it's not about what you do after college. It's about the thought that you come into college with. And my request to all of you today is to always be in the second row. You are in the best possible place. You have the best possible infrastructure. Now it's just about what you make of it in the next 2 years. So today I'm going to address the topic, how can you gain an early advantage in the first 5 years post MBA? Now there are 2 parts to it. And if anybody wants to take notes, you can, because I don't want you to forget it 3 months down the line, because that'll just make it lose the purpose. There are 2 parts to it. Yeah. The first part to is what do you do in college? And the next part is what do you do after college? Make sense? That's essentially what's going to define the next 5-7 years of your life. What do you do here and what do you do after you come out of a college, of your MBA school? Let's talk about the first part first. What are you supposed to do when you are at IMT? What are you here for? Why did you join IMT? What's the course? What's the course? Anybody? On chat.
It's PGDM.
Yeah. It's PGDM. It's an MBA, right? you're supposed to learn how to manage a business. You're supposed to be a master in administering business services. That's what you're supposed to be a master of. And let me tell you what most of you will do in the next 2 years. You will sit on your rooms and watch Netflix. That's what a majority of you are going to do. Now, if you do that, if you crib, sit in your rooms, watch Netflix for 2 years, can you become a master of business administration? Can you do that? And let me tell you, 600 may say at least 450 people would be doing exactly the same thing. You might not agree to me right now, but look at what your peers are doing 3 months from now, and you'll realize that majority of you are doing the same mistake. An MBA, and you know, if I have professors here and who I used to be very scared of, I hope they don't kill me for this. But trust me when I say this, MBA is not just a pure academic course. MBA is not an academic course. It is. The academics are important. The academics are important to learn the tricks of the trade. The academics are important to learn the tools which you use for decision making. Academics are important to understand the theory behind what you're going to do for the next 30, 35 years of your life. But essentially, an MBA is a training ground. Unless you are training yourself, you can't train yourself by sitting in your room. You can't train yourself by sitting just in the cafeteria. You have to do, you have to participate, right? Can anybody tell me, and I want it just to be interactive, I want people to answer. Can you tell me, when you go out in the industry, what are the things that actually make you money? What does the industry pay you for? किस बात का पैसा मिलता है मार्केट में?
So the skills that you bring in for the development of the company.
What are those skills? What are those skills? They're not like 1,000 skills, essentially. If you ask me, there are just 3 skills which make you money. What are those 3 skills? What are those 3 skills, guys?
So one will be leadership, if I may guess.
Anybody else? No worries. Let's not sleep on a Saturday morning. Okay, people are posting in the chat. But do I see this? Okay. Somebody says decision making. Somebody says communication skills. What else? As a business owner, what are the 2-3 things that you want to do? Because that's what you will pay somebody else to do it for you. If you were a business owner, delivering results. Okay, fine. Results on what? Cool. I'll tell you. In my understanding, you're paid for 3 things. You're paid to make a plan. You're paid to make a plan. Second, you're paid to execute a plan. So either you join as a strategist and you say that, you know what, this is what companies are supposed to do. This is what my businesses are supposed to do. This is what regional business heads are supposed to do, right? You either get into strategy or consulting where you make a plan, or you get into sales, marketing, operations where you execute a plan. Yeah, ye plan hai. Now go out, get this done for 20 countries, get this done for 30 states, get this done for 5,000 people in the workforce. And the third thing you're paid for is to minimize damage when something goes off plan. You are just paid for 3 skills in the market. I'm again going to tell you, you're paid to make a plan, you're paid to execute a plan, and you're paid to minimize damage when something goes off plan. Now, how do you learn that? If you want to make money, if you want to grow after your MBA, you have to learn these 3 skills and find gaps in the market, right? So finding gaps in the market is essentially making a plan, understanding what needs to be done. And then coming up with a solution is again a part of making the plan and then delivering that solution. So I'm just answering something what Vamika mentioned in the chat. So it's all about making a plan, executing a plan, and eventually minimizing damage if something goes off plan. Now, what is the infrastructure in college that you have in order for you to learn all these skills? And how did I learn them? And how did people who I see today are successful have learned them? So how long has it been since you've been in college, or since your batch has started? How long has it been? 2 weeks now. Okay. So what's going to happen is that in the next 2 weeks, there might be a large recruitment happening for different clubs and committees in the college. How many of you think it's a waste of time? See, I'm going to talk about the most important thing. Anjali thinks it's a waste of time. Do you, Anjali? Okay. And so does Aditya. Shiva says, no, it's not a waste of time. Okay, perfect. And we have a lot of other people saying different. Now, let me tell you why we have set up that part for you. So it's a part of a larger design. Why do we want you people to participate? So as I mentioned earlier, MBA is all about training yourself to manage different situations. You know, in the past, when I used to head the student body at IMT, we realized that a very large number of people who are a part of our batch end up not getting any managerial exposure in their 2 years of their MBA. And I'm not sure how it works right now, but I remember having a conversation with the management 3 years ago, and we said we'll mandate everybody to be a part of at least one entity. Is it like that right now also, or we've gone back to the other thing? Is it like that? Okay. No. Yes. You don't know.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Okay, it is. Perfect. See, I'll tell you why that is important. So I overheard Alekhya a little in his session, and he was talking about the art of storytelling and the art of marketing. That's one very important skill that managers need to learn. The other skills that you also need to learn in order to be able to make a plan, execute a plan, and minimize damage is how do you sell a proposition? Another thing is how do you get people to execute something? Another learning that you guys need to learn is how to appraise people, how to reward people, how to categorize actions into what is good, what is beneficial, and what is not beneficial. The way all of these clubs, committees, council activities have been designed, and they've been designed, they're not just the way they are, is to ensure that you guys get an exposure to all fields of managerial skills that are available or that might be needed by you in the next 10 years. So when you go out and hire people for your club, for your committee, you understand the process of recruitment. I remember when we were in college, we used to have 72-hour recruitment sprints. We would be there, we'll interview 400 plus people, and we'll try to figure out who should be the 15 people who we should take and who we feel will be able to take the agenda forward in the most correct manner. When you appraise the performance of these people, you understand the basic HR process as to which people you should bring forward and which people you should not. When you do events in college, when you get people from outside to participate, you learn how to market. When you try to raise money for your events, you learn how to raise capital. So I'll tell you a very small story. Most colleges in the country, how do they raise sponsorship? You know how most campuses in the country raise sponsorship? They go out and they look for an uncle, they look for an elder brother, they look for a cousin, they look for somebody they know, their dad's friend, who can give them some money for their college festivals. Is that what most of you did in your graduation? Is that what most of you did in your graduation? Okay. Okay. And let me tell you a story of what we did in 2013. And I'm not sure if it's still running here, but we sat down and we tried to figure out how do you revolve money in the market. It's one of a very important business learnings. What we did in 2013 is that we went down to 2 newspapers. It's a good story, you might like it. We went down to 2 newspapers and we said, you know what, we have 600 people in year 1 and we have 600 people in year 2. They are all going to be business leaders 5 years from now. They are all going to be holding important positions of responsibility in the industry. Do you want those people to develop a habit of reading your newspaper? We went down to 2 newspaper companies and we said, and we sold this proposition. The newspaper guys came back and said, yeah, we want that. We want that these 1200 people should get an exposure or get into a habit of reading my newspaper so that 10 years from now, 5 years from now, when they are in important positions in the industry, my newspaper holds a decent importance and has a decent penetration into the industry. We said, okay, fine. We'll give you exclusive rights to give subscriptions in all our hostels. We started off with that, right? They said, okay, fine, that's good. Can we charge money to the students? We said, yes, you should charge money to the student for the subscription of the newspaper. We want something else from you. They said, what do you want? We said, we want 4 ad slots in your newspaper, half-page ad slots over the year when we want. They said, okay, fine. That makes sense. We'll give you 4 half-page ad slots in our newspaper. We said, okay, that sounds good. Then we came back to college and we said that, should we promote our events here? He said, if we promote our events here, nobody will know what, what would a normal guy know what a passion is or a Chakravyuh is? A normal person who's not from the MBA fraternity, they will not know what it is, right? What we needed was a large amount of sponsorship. So we said, what do people relate with? The essential idea was to raise money for the student body for our activities. We said people associate with a lot of social causes. Do we have the cyclothon still at college? Do we do the cyclothon still? I think last year was the pandemic year. We didn't do it. Till 2019, we were doing it. So we said that let's get a community of cyclists together and we'll tell them that 500 of these cyclists should ride for a specific cause. And we took up one cause that year and we took up multiple causes over the course of next year. Now we went down to two news channels, NDTV and ABP. And we said, you know what, there are 500 people, influential people, cycling enthusiasts of Delhi who are coming together and who are going to ride for this cause. Do you want to cover it? I said, yeah, we'll send our teams to cover it. I said, okay, thank you. Then we went down to 2 radio channels and we said, we are conducting this kind of a thing. There are 500 people coming in. Do you want to promote it on your channel and say that you stand for the cause? He said, yeah, that sounds like a good option. They said, what do you need? We said, we need 10 slots where you will tell about this event. And they said, okay. Now, what did we have? We have 2 events. We have 2 newspapers covering us, giving us 4 slots. We have 2 radio channels giving us 10 slots each. And we have 2 news channels who will be covering us for 2 days. Now, that's a lot of media exposure. Now, when you have that kind of a media exposure, now when you go to brands and say, do you want to participate? Now they are not just promoting passion. Now they are not just promoting Chakravyuh. They are not just promoting cyclothon. They are getting their brand logos on 2 news channels for 3 hours a day, on 2 radio channels for 10 slots every day, and in 2 newspapers in half-page ads 4 times a year. That's how you make money. And I am telling you, because I did that activity once in first year, got it done from my juniors in second year. Today, when I have to run a new project, right? So whenever I start a new project, whenever I enter a new company, whenever I set up a new business, whenever I set up a new territory, I need to raise funds, right? It never seems to be a challenge to me. Because I have done it. I have done it from the scratch. And I know, yaar, ye to ho sakta hai. To bahut aasan cheez hai. Aapko sirf, you have to just make the entire plan in a foolproof manner and execute it. And it works. Now that confidence is something which gives you the power to take up difficult projects. And difficult projects, so we'll talk about what you need to do after you've graduated from college. And one of the things is to take up difficult projects in the first 2-3 years. Because you have the luxury to fail. And if you succeed, you get rewarded exuberantly. And the first thing you need to do that is to have the confidence that I've done it before. And that's what an MBA school is for. You try it and gain confidence it can be done. Because I've sat in 72-hour hiring marathons. Today, when I have to, so Byju's has a 12,000 sales force. You know that? I've played a very important role in hiring at least 2,000 of them. At Upgrad, we have a 500 plus member sales force, which has a 30% attrition also. So in 1.5 years, I would have hired 800 people at Upgrad also. Now, the point is, whenever I have to set up 10 new offices and I have to get 200, 300 people in, it never seems to be a challenge. I know how hiring is done. It's not a problem. And thus, when somebody tells me, can you go out and open 10 new offices? I say, okay, yes, I can. Right? I say I can. You know, so do you know about the cola wars? So Pepsi and Coca-Cola have always been in a war. So all PepsiCo brands and all Coca-Cola brands, if you have any understanding of the FMCG industry, uh, if Coca-Cola gives you a refrigerator for your outlet, they dissuade you from keeping PepsiCo products in it, and vice versa. Do you know that? Have you heard about it? So when we were in college, we heard or we studied about the cola war in one of the case studies. So I don't remember which subject it was, but I think it was brands one in which I don't know what it is called right now. We heard that there is a cola war and companies, both PepsiCo and Coca-Cola, want to have an exclusive agreement with any property that they tag along with. And we said, which property do we have? We said we have a canteen and we have a lot of fests where we serve a lot of soft drinks and other drinks as well, right? We went to PepsiCo and we said, you know what? We are 1,200 future managers here. We get a large number of people from other B schools also. Day in and day out, do you want these 1,200 people to look at your branding or do you want them to look at PepsiCo's branding? Or, sorry, Coca-Cola's branding? And thankfully, because we had studied about the brand wars, they were very eager to say that, no, we want PepsiCo branding there. And we said, what is it that you want to give it to? What is it that you will give us in return? And they gave us a couple of lakhs to do that. What happened was that we needed to sign an MOU with them that the other brand products will not be in campus for this amount of time. And once we did that, we had the Coca-Cola representatives reach out to us and say that, why have you partnered with PepsiCo? We said, see, we have already signed that MOU. We'll do it with you next year. And I don't know if you guys are following it or not. And if you're not, you should. Every year we change those brands. And because of their brand war, we get our money, right? Now don't go out and tell this to your seniors who are working for those brands or, sabko bata ke scheme public nahi karni hai, but still that's what we do. And this is not what I was getting at. I was getting at the fact that every year for the first 2 years, I signed on that MOU. Now, why am I telling you that signing on that MOU was important? Because when I signed on that MOU, it was the first time I was signing a legal document which could have real repercussions, where I was dealing with a very powerful brand, right? And I was doing it out of a whim. यार कर सकते हैं, हमने पढ़ा है क्लास के अंदर तो कर देते हैं. The fact that I signed that MOU, the fact that I told Coca-Cola to not come to campus because I signed an MOU with Pepsi, gave me the confidence that I can go sign agreements with powerful people. When I opened 10 new offices for Upgrad, all the leases were signed in my name. And why do I say that? Is because when I look back, I had the confidence to go read it, have a lawyer look at it, and then sign it with confidence. कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, मैं देख लूँगा. The fact that I could do it, one, made me a lot of money because I was doing a large part of execution of a plan for my organization. And when I look back, it started from IMT. And that's why I'm saying the more you participate, the more confidence you get. Do you understand what I'm saying? When you reach a couple of months, and again, certain professors might not like what I'm saying here, when you will be in your second year of college, in all of these committees, clubs, councils, you will understand that there is a lot of politics as well. It will be there because that's how the world runs here. It's a power struggle. It's a power struggle. Does the world outside MBA college not have that? It has it, right? If it has it, I see a lot of people cribbing about it even till now. Yeah, my office mein bahut dikkat hai, power struggle hai. Somebody is trying to overpower me. Somebody is trying to, go after the boss and get ahead. Somebody is trying to use their power in a manner where they're subduing me. And what I realized is that यार सुन second year में ना मेरे ही जितने smart, मेरे ही जितने confident 10 और लोग थे जिनके साथ मैं power struggle कर रहा था. And I did it in a manner that I could, and I'll tell you where strategy also comes into place. When you understand those power dynamics, and see, I'm talking to you about this because I want you to understand what an MBA is. I could have just talked to you about some sales marketing stories, but I don't want to do that. The fact that in second year, me and another one of my colleagues who's also doing great work now, we could anticipate कि हर club, हर committee का president कौन बनेगा before they even announced it, because we understood the power dynamics in that group. Because we understood the power dynamics in that. Why am I telling you this? Because when today I sit in a board meeting, when today I sit with 50 franchisee operators who are running my business, some of who are very powerful people in their specific geographies, I know what they would think. I know what actions they would take. I know what would be something that would entice them to do what I want them to do. If you are able to do all of that, you will be able to become a better business administrator, and eventually you will be able to call yourself a master of that. Do you guys agree to what I'm saying? No. Will you guys do that? Is the point. See, even if 50% of the attendance today agrees to participate more in the next 2 years, I'll feel my job is done. You know how many competitions there are across B-schools every year? Why is it not that every competition is won by us? I'm saying every, I'm not saying most of them. I'm saying why can it not be that every one of it is won by us? In 2014-15, I am telling you, in my batch, we had a streak where for 7 months, every competition was won by an IIM team. And I'll tell you why that helped us. Because when you take part in these competitions, they're all designed to test your strategy skills, and they are also designed to test your execution skills depending on what kind of competition it is. When you do that 10 times, participate in 10 competitions. You might lose 8 and win 2. But if the entire batch is doing it, your community will win most of them. But if you are able to participate in at least 10 over the next 2 years, and when you participate, don't participate in a half-hearted manner. Never do surface work. Always do in-depth work. Imagine doing that solving that case if you were being paid 5 lakhs a month to do that. Will you solve it in a manner that you solve it today, or will you go deeper into it? If you are a part of any body in the college, try and take up problems and solve those problems. I'll give you an example. Anybody from MESCOM here? Okay, I think they're all first year people. So they're okay. Okay, we have people from MESCOM.
Inducted into companies.
Okay, but I have 3 people who are saying they're a part of MESCOM. Okay, cool. Guys, do you know everybody pays for mess as a part of your fees? Everybody, all of you. So I don't know right now because you're at home. When you will be in campus, everybody would pay for the mess. Still at breakfast, the attendance is less than 10%. At lunch, it's around 30, 35, 1 in 3 people. And at dinner, it's around, 40 to 50%. More than half of the people do not eat at the mess, even though they pay for it. Has anybody tried to solve that marketing problem? Why is that so? If the food is not good, it's an operations problem. Solve it. If people don't think having dinner at the mess with their girlfriend is classy enough, it's a marketing problem. Solve it. If you're in sportscom and you see majority of your people sitting in their AC rooms and not coming out and having beer bellies, that's a marketing problem. Solve it. If you can't solve it for sportscom, don't expect Culfit to hire you. If you can't solve it for MESCOM, don't expect Zomato to hire you. I mean it. If you can't solve sponsorship problems, don't expect an investment company to hire you. There's a club called Race. You know, why should Race not get projects and deliver consulting reports at par with any average consulting agency in NCR? Why should you not charge a couple of lakh rupees to deliver a strategy or a consulting assignment to anybody who is looking for that in NCR region? Why do you have to be subpar? Because if you're used to being subpar for 2 years, you will be subpar in the years to come ahead. If you are in the finance club, do you have an investment portfolio? Are you really making money? Are you really able to understand which stocks are going to go up or which stocks are going to go down? If you're in the non-investment finance club, do you deal with all the bodies in the college and tell them that you will be able to help them better their cash flows? Does the college administration come down to you and ask you for your advice? If they are not asking you for an advice, nobody else is going to pay you for that skill. Hone those skills, the infra is there for you, is what I'm trying to tell you. If you don't hone those skills, right, because there are problems to solve. There are problems to solve right then and there. Solve those problems and you will be confident enough to go out and solve those problems for the market. You know, when I went out and started the edtech industry, so edtech industry is doing really nice right now. When I started off in the edtech industry in 2015, people were not very okay to spend that kind of money on, you know, you send your kids to school, you send your kids to tuition. Now a Byju's is coming along and saying, you know what, you need a tablet also. Parents were not ready to buy it. We went down to PwC, we went down to Bain, we went down to the, you know, best consulting companies, and they said, no, you will be only able to sell in Delhi, Bangalore, Bombay, Hyderabad. 75% of my revenue comes from tier 3 and tier 4 cities. You know why? Because we had the epiphany that we'll go out and tell them, you know what, people in Delhi have 100 opportunities. People in Haldwani do not. People in Rudrapur do not. Do you want your kids to not compete with kids from Delhi? They said we do, and thus 75% of our business comes from there. Problems are there to solve. And does what I am saying is that because we had the confidence and we were better than what Bain suggested. And I'm just driving to the point that why can't you set up a consulting space where you give out those suggestions and consultations? I'll give you another example. Just to tell you that the best companies in the world are not as good as they seem to be. You can be better than them. So when I was at HCL, we launched a program called HCL Leap. It was a great program. We made a good 400 crores from it. I started selling that program at 1,99,000. And eventually, when I moved to Byju's, I was selling that program for 3 lakh rupees. Right? I went to PwC for a pricing consultation request. You know what PwC told me? PwC said, you can't sell it for anything more than 30,000 rupees. We sold it for 3 lakhs. And we sold tens of thousands of them. My request to you is, if you are into digital marketing, ensure that your club, your digital marketing club markup is the go-to place for anybody who wants to have a digital marketing campaign in NCR. Are you better than any average advertising agency? You should be, right? People in an average marketing agency are just graduates with probably a 2-month course in digital marketing. You're doing your MBA from one of the finest institutions of the country. Why can't you beat them? If you beat them in 2 years now, I can assure you, you will beat them after your MBA gets over and you're in the industry. So the only thing you have to do in college is to participate. You will not become a master of business administration by sleeping in your rooms with your ACs on and watching Netflix. That's a waste of time. That's not something you paid 20 lakh rupees for. Make the most of the money that you've spent, right? The worst kind of people are people who are in investment clubs in the college, pay 20 lakh rupees and then sleep in their rooms. What kind of investment are you making, right? Now let's talk about what you have to do once you are out of college. And I'll try to wrap up in 5 minutes and then take your questions. When you're out of college, when we were kids, we were taught two stories. So one story and one poem. And when I look back today, I realize that they were the most important things which were taught to me in life. The first thing which was taught to us was a story of a rabbit and a tortoise. Remember that story? Why was that taught to us? It was taught to us because they wanted you to bloody well know that talent is not the most important thing. And if you go deep within something and you keep going, you will eventually succeed. Any business problem, I'm telling you, the biggest of business problems seem smaller when 5 days of brainstorming have gone into it. When 3 iterations have gone into it, the biggest business problems seem the smallest. I have opened 60 offices in a span of 30 days. It seemed to be a very big problem. When we sat on it for 2 days, we realized, okay, fine, we have 30 people in offices. We have super 2 offices in a 20 people for each office, 40 people. You have 30 days, 1.5 people every day. Can I recruit? Yes, I can. Always go deeper into a problem and do not go halfway and come back. Don't sleep midway. It's the most important thing you've been taught. When you get out of your MBA, try and go deep into whatever you are doing. Try to be better than your manager. They say dress up for the job you want. I say act for the job you also want. You want to be your manager in a small amount of time. You want to have that promotion in a small amount of time. Act like that person. Don't act like an associate if you want to be a consultant. Don't act like a consultant if you want to be a partner. If you want to be a partner, start acting like a partner even when you're a consultant. If you want to be a consultant, start acting like a consultant even when you are an associate. And in no time, you will get that. And the second thing that we were taught when we were in school was about a poem by Mr. Robert Frost, where he takes a load rest travel. Why do they tell you that? I think it's a very capitalist thing to teach students that, because that's what makes you the most money. Everybody gets paid an average salary or an average reward for doing something that 5,000 people are doing. When you get into the industry, you will always have an option of problems, of projects, of campaigns, of territories which are not doing nicely. You have the luxury to take on those challenges in the first 3 years of your life. There are just 2 outcomes. Either you will succeed and you'll be rewarded exuberantly for it, or you'll fail and you'll understand and have the experience and not do it again, and you'll take up a second project equally difficult and you'll succeed and you'll get rewarded exuberantly for it. There is no third way that it will end. Unless you are scared to take it up, nothing is going to stop you from it. So when you're in college, participate, gain the confidence, never think you're in the wrong place. I'm telling you, there were 2 kinds of people in college. One who would regret being at IMT, they still regret being at IMT. The second who was saying, 2 साल में industry चलाएंगे, and they are actually running the industry today. Be the second part. Participate as much as you can. Do not sleep in your rooms. And when you get out of your campus, take up projects which are difficult. Take up projects which nobody is taking. I joined HCL to sell data centers. I'll tell you another story. I joined HCL to sell data centers on our initiation day. So when you go into HCL, they have a very big party in the Kirana, the Museum of Art, where all the senior leadership, all country directors of HCL come in and they brief you and they tell you what they're trying to do, because it's a senior management trainee GEM batch which is coming in. This guy, who was the president of the HCL group at that point of time, told us about an education venture they were planning to go into. And he was trying to brag. Yeah. Are we getting late?
Request? Yeah. We are getting late, and can we have, because next speaker has already joined from you.
Perfect. We'll take up questions.
So I think for questions, may I request also to collect and collate these questions if we have some of them summarily available. Kulatu, can you have those questions asked? And sorry to just pause and give you the interruptions.
No
We'll
worries.
love
No
to
worries.
have you in a much detail.
I lost track of time. Please,
Yeah.
any questions that are there?
Sir, I'll definitely be very glad to collect the questions and mail it to you. We can collect it and have it in one shot.
Perfect. Perfect.
So
Perfect.
before you leave, I just one small question. It has been 6 years, and we are sure your memories from IMT are still fresh.
Right.
Which is one such memory that you would like to share? A story within the campus.
Okay, there are actually so many. I'm just trying to figure out which one I can say on this forum and which ones I I cannot. Sure. So I'll tell you about. It's not my story. It's a story about a couple of my friends, and I'll tell you how that has impacted me today. So you remember, or you guys would know, there's something which is called Mahindra War Room. So one batch senior to us was this guy Varun, who started the concept of winning it. And we said that, you know what, we won it last year, we want to win it again this year. There were 4 of our friends who were participating. So I was not participating, I was participating in something else at that point of time. These people took up a problem statement, which is a very odd problem statement. So I don't know if Avinash is here today, because he said that he's going to join this session as well. We remember that when these people were preparing for their war room, the entire campus came along for them. You know, that was the first time I saw the batch, coming together for something which was not for their own benefit. We remember when these people were making their presentation, we would gather every day in the old auditorium and we would hear their presentation and tell them what changes they needed to make. And these people were really open about it. You know, a lot of people I saw, they initially were very closed about what they were doing. They would not tell, they would feel somebody else would take up our ideas would go to different campuses. These people would gather every day to take feedback from the entire batch. Some days from the entire batch, some days from focus groups from specific streams. And by the end, when the finale came, we realized that their presentation was at a completely different level from somebody who came second. And that day, 2 things happened. One, the batch became so close knitted that most of us are very good friends even today. And we realized for the rest of our lives that getting feedback from people who matter is never a bad idea. You have a startup idea, you have any idea, you have a business idea, always take feedback. This is one memory which has probably shaped the way I have set up the last 6 years of my journey. You never lose by taking feedback. You never lose by sharing it with people. It always gets you better perspective. And by the end, because you are meeting 500 people and taking feedback, you'll always be better than individual ones of them. So I think that's one story, Kulathu, that I want to end with. I hope
Thank
you
you so
guys
much,
liked
sir.
it. Yeah. Thank you so much. It was great talking to all of you, and hope to see you all.
Yes.
So it could have been such a very engaging narrative and a grip of tale. In so many ways, you could make a very concise and a very clear point that making plans, executing plans, and minimizing damages.
Right.
Have the confidence that you can always create a plan, even if it doesn't exist already there in your mind. When you work it around, you'll get away. And you know how to execute that plans, because while executing, you will gain the confidence that what next can be done, minimizing damage. So it's a recursive cycle that goes on. And in a little time of 5 years, if I can use a little time of 5 years, we already have seen how this tech industry has grown along with growth of its trajectory. We thank you, Kushal, for spending time. Apologies for giving that
No
abrupt
worries.
messages.
No
But
worries at all, sir. No worries at all.
since we have a very accomplished speaker joining us from UK, and it's very early morning for her, so Billy, I believe, ma'am, for you it may not have been such a difficult 15 minutes to wait and start your session. So may I request our next speaker and student anchor, Shubham, to be on screen. I believe you are already in the meeting, so be on the screen and initiate the session. And Kushal, I can assure you, we'll definitely have you to listen a little more for this entire batch of young students.
Definitely, sir. Definitely.
Whenever time arises.
It'll be my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.